Attention! Americans have the freedom of choice, and your choice for professional wrestling should be the American Wrestling Federation.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ken Resnick.
And I'm Chrissy.
And this is the Warriors of Wrestling. Now, Chrissy, any idea what President Paul Alperstein's big announcement is about this week?
No, Ken, I don't have any clue. But we've got an exciting hour lined up. Tito Santana, our champion, will be wrestling, as well as gentleman Chris Adams.
And the fabulous Freebirds in action, which always proves to be interesting. But what a main event, Chrissy. Luscious Tommy Rich and Greg the Hammer Valentine against Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, and Coco Beware.
What an exciting hour. Let's get to ringside.
Thank you very much, Barbie and Ken.
Oh, stop that, for heaven's sakes. Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen.
Introducing first in a combined weight of 445 pounds, the team of Chad Miller and John Paul.
Chad Miller and John Paul, Minneapolis' own John Paul.
I love everybody from Minneapolis. Great fans.
And their opponents at a combined weight of 560 pounds, the Texas Hangman.
Doesn't that announcer look like it's somebody?
He does a little bit.
But those guys don't look like anybody. Killer and Psycho. Psycho's the little baby of the family. He's only 270. Killer, 303 pounds. What a man.
Well, no question about it, in this tag team combination, the Texas Hangmen, every time we have seen them in action, they have left one opponent, perhaps both, lying in the ring with a broken bone. They mean business here in the American Wrestling Federation.
Yeah, I just got word over my earpiece that the fines have been paid. Nails paid his. I don't know where he gets his money. And Tony Atlas's fine has been paid, but we don't know by whom. What a mystery.
And that means, ladies and gentlemen, that a little bit later on, you are going to see Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, and Coco Beware taking on luscious Tommy Rich and Greg the Hammer Valentine. What a match.
That's the main event anywhere on this show. I just had to say it different than everybody else does.
I know you did.
All right.
You are different than everybody else. John Paul and Chad Miller going to try their hands here against Killer and Psycho, the Texas Hangman. John Paul, a very, very talented wrestler. We've seen him in the past, but how do you compete with the bulk, the mass of the Texas Hangman?
It's called conditioning. John Paul is in great cardiovascular shape. He also flies, you know. He has a pilot's license. He has instrument rating. He can do it all. He's a great wrestler, too, getting the people behind him a little bit. And, hey, we got first time ever. We've got Killer starting out, the big one of the two.
Near 300 pounds. They lock up collar to elbow, and Killer powers John Paul to the ropes. Ladies and gentlemen, again, in the American Wrestling Federation, if you're a first-time viewer, this is the rounds system. 3 4-minute rounds to determine a winner. If there is no winner at the end of the contest, the referee keeping a scorecard will make his own determination and call a winner.
Whoa, man, good reflexes there by John Paul. And see how he followed up? He didn't hesitate. He went in and snatched that headlock and hit the big man with a shoulder block with no effect.
Ducks the clothesline, over the top, John Paul, drop kick right on the money, and Killer hits the deck.
See, I just say how good he was about following up. Don't worry about the guy on the outside. He had that other guy in bad shape and turned his back on him.
And here's a tag now, Chad Miller in the ring, trying to keep this momentum going. He catches Killer to the short ribs with that shot off the rope. Whoa, no, gosh!
That's what happens when you've got 310 pounds. It's mainly in the mid area. Great lifting, great thrusting ability. And he used it right there with a slap across the chest just for insult. That didn't hurt, Chad.
And Terry, this is when the Texas Hangmen are their most effective. When they start to get the opponent softened up, they are relentless. Everything that they do is high impact. And right now, oh, right underneath the chin.
He stole that from me. I innovated that move 9 years ago, and it's very effective. I've won a lot of matches using that. I called it the jawbreaker.
Well, you know, you're talking about it. Why don't we see you in there? Get in there once in a while with a team like the Hangmen.
I'm too busy carrying you here right now. When I get done making you a star, then I might get back in the ring.
Sunset flip.
Sunset, what an upset. He's got him too. That's called a save right there, Cars. You keep an eye on your buddy and make sure that he doesn't get beat. It's the buddy system.
And right now, once again, John Paul in the ring. Oh, crunching shoulder tackle down on the canvas. He blocks the hip lock attempt, and a second time in a clothesline right across the sternum.
The best thing you can do on that one, too, is turn into a lariat like that. That way the guy hits you in the shoulder instead of the chest. And that's what John Paul tried to do, but just too much muscle.
Way too much, but that time he telegraphed the maneuver. John Paul makes the tag, and Chad Miller, the fresh man, hits the ring.
Come on, Chad, don't tiptoe. Get in there and throw the big ones. See, he came in intimidated.
Oh, textbook there, Terry.
German suplex, belly to back. If he would have bridged a little bit, he would have driven that guy, Chad Miller's shoulders and head into the mat.
And now the Hangmen once again with a little double team. They smell blood. And now the big man back in the ring. That's Killer. Big elbow right across the sternum again. And Chad Miller, you can see it right there. He is in some serious trouble. Double underhook right now. What's he got in mind, Terry?
Well, you can either power bond him from there or right there. Double underhook suplex. There's a feeling of vertigo in that. 30 seconds left. You don't know what's up, what's down, and you don't know when you're going to land. Very hard to condition yourself and prepare for the fall on that move.
And again, the Texas Hangmen cutting off the ring. Miller unable to get over and make the tag. Let's see, are they going to go for the pinfall here in the waning seconds of the opening round? And again, he is drilled to the canvas.
That's the bridge I'm talking about. Did you see how his feet were straight up and his head was down? We're going to see round number 2.
Well, indeed, the team of Miller and John Paul survived the first round, albeit just barely. The Hangmen continue the assault. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming back with round 2 of this tag team encounter. Stay with us. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. With the American Wrestling Federation tag team action, the Texas Hangmen in with Chad Miller and John Paul. And of course, this is space-age technology. You're not watching a wrestling movie, ladies and gentlemen. This is digital professional wrestling with the American Wrestling Federation.
The cutting edge of professional wrestling and the technology that brings it to you. I mean, nobody else does this. This is cool. Like being at the movies, but you're seeing great wrestling action. There's Killer up on the second rope. Excuse me, Mick. Big dive splash.
No. Just this quickly. Wait a minute. He was close enough to the ropes.
No, the guy just said, I'm not going to pin him yet.
Oh, this is a diabolical, sadistic combination. Oh, he leveled Chad Miller with that lariat. And Killer firmly in control right now. John Paul can do nothing but watch and grimace from the ring apron.
Look at the look on John Paul's face. He's telling his partner to move. He's into this match, even if he's on the outside. He's involved. He cares about his partner, and he wants nothing more than to get in there when a lot of guys in this situation want anything but to get in there.
Well, unless Chad Miller can pull a rabbit out of the hat here, we may have seen the last of John Paul, because Miller is in the wrong part of Dodge right now.
Ooh, gosh.
This is something, oh, that time John Paul's standing there minding his own business, and now the referee is being distracted. John Paul doing his own partner more harm than good, Terry.
Yeah, but he stayed on the outside and was patient while they were smashing his partner, and then they came over and incited him, and made him mad. And then right here, they've got him in that neck breaker. Is this going to be the Texas Gallows?
Yes, indeed.
Nobody's kicked out of that. Gary the Rock Grungy counts 3.
Once again, a tremendously impressive encounter here on the part of the Texas Hangmen, Killer and Psycho.
Right here you see a double teaming move, a double suplex. Right there, Chad Miller had been beaten down. He was in bad shape. And right here, that gallows.
The Texas Hangman, ladies and gentlemen, clearly victorious. Right now, let's send it to Ken Resnick. He's standing by with the Z-Man, Tom Zink.
I'm with, of course, the Z-Man, Tom Zink, and boy, talk about devastating tag team, the Hangman. But very quickly remind you, the main event today, Tom, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas and Coco Beware against Rico Suave's family of Greg the Hammer Valentine and Luscious Tommy Rich.
That's going to be a hot match coming up, and I know why the Hangmen are called the Hangman.
There is no question. The tag team competition really heating up here in the American Wrestling Federation.
Sure is.
You know, Tom, you and I have been talking about what a truly great champion Tito Santana is.
Yes.
But yet, I mean, looking at it very honestly, you are still unbeaten, a successful string of victories. I know you and Tito are good friends, but it's the goal of every wrestler to become the champion.
Well, first off, I'd like to say he's a great champion. I've got to earn the position to wrestle him. And all you great fans of the AWF, thank you very much for all the cards and letters and presents I've received. I really appreciate it. I love you all. Thank you.
He is the one and only Z-Man, Tom Zink. Now let's get back to the ring for more great AWF action.
Well, Terry, I guarantee you Ken Resnick was absolutely right. You know Tom Zink would love a shot at Tito Santana.
Yeah, but I like the way Z-Man said it. He's got to earn it. Don't give it to me.
Trevor Blanchard, ladies and gentlemen, a familiar face here in the American Wrestling Federation. Is he related to Tully or not? Have you done your homework? Did you find anything out?
Yes, I did.
His opponent from Stratford-on-Avon in England, weighing 235 pounds, gentleman, Chris Adams.
Well, as usual, you're going to leave me in the dark. Gentleman Chris Adams, ladies and gentlemen, out of Stratford-on-Avon, England. A tremendous competitor, certainly adept at the rounds format here in the American Wrestling Federation. Stay with us. We're going to look at Chris in a moment. Okay, we're all set for this one. Gentlemen, Chris Adams and Trevor Blanchard. And Terry, in just a few moments, President Paul Elperstein of the American Wrestling Federation with that big announcement. I do not have any idea what it is. Do you?
Yes, I do. Well, no, really, I don't, because could it be a rematch with Orton and Tito Santana for the championship? I don't know.
Well, certainly Orton has been clamoring for that one. Whether or not that is the big announcement, we will find out in just a few moments. So you want to stay tuned for that. Trevor Blanchard in the meantime. Oh, with a cheap shot right into the eye of gentleman Chris Adams. He's throwing the rule book out the window, climbs his back, Terry.
Yeah, he's got him in a sleeper. Chris Adams, see how Adams has got down. That's a basic judo throw. If the guy hasn't got his weight on his own feet, you've got him up in the air, you can do whatever you want with him. Ooh, man, nice forearm.
Well, I'll tell you, that shot to the eyes really got Chris Adams motivated here, and he has turned on the afterburners, and Trevor Blanchard is paying a price.
Well, when you... That's the first time I've ever seen Chris Adams do that. He uses his feet well, as evidenced by the super kick. He knows all sorts of suplexes, and his brother Neil, 3 times bronze medalist in judo. Here we go, is he gonna pile drive him?
Oh, didn't get all that he wanted there.
Over-rotated him on the power bomb.
But certainly Adams, the veteran that he is not going to give Blanchard a chance to recoup here. Oh, takes him hard to the canvas.
That's a belly-to-belly. Some guys take you straight over. Chris Adams picked him up and then used his own shoulder, driving it into Blanchard's chest, knocking the air out of him.
And you have to believe that the ambassador, Stephen Casey, is watching this one from somewhere. Big back body drop.
You see the way Chris Adams is using his body underneath Blanchard's, and everything he does is making Blanchard fall. Right in the temple. Oh, man.
I'm not sure I would want to see a slow-mo replay of that. Adams in for the cover. This one is all over. What a super kick delivered by gentleman Chris Adams.
God save the Queen. I tell you what, that was a very impressive. He got it started a little slow, maybe no coffee before the match, but once he got poked in the eye, he took off.
Well, Trevor Blanchard made the mistake of getting under the skin of gentleman Chris Adams. You see Chris there shaking hands. with his legions of fans in the American Wrestling Federation. Once he got that thumb in the eyes, it seemed to turn everything around. From that point on, Trevor Blanchard, it was a matter of time before he was through.
There's that belly to belly. See how he takes that shoulder and drives it into the chest of Blanchard, who right there looks like he's out of gas. Innovative move using the heel to the solar plexus, which again drives the air out. Chris Adams, a very well schooled. Now watch this in slow motion, right to the temple. Bang!
Oh, wow.
That'll give you a cauliflower ear. Come here, Carson.
Now you keep your hands off of me, ladies and gentlemen. The big announcement from Paul Alperstein coming up. And right now, here's Ken Resnick. He's standing by with gentleman Chris Adams.
There's no question things constantly change here in the American Wrestling Federation, but one thing that remains constant, gentleman Chris Adams, always a fan favorite.
Well, thank you, Ken. You know, it's a pleasure to be in the American Wrestling Federation, the alternative wrestling federation. You know, it's fantastic to have the round system. You know, it's all coming back to me now. I've been in America a few years, but now the round system, I've been in the American Wrestling Federation now for a few months, and it's all coming back. It makes me feel great.
Chris, if I may, I know you're always a gentleman out here, the way you conduct yourself, and you've kind of skirted around talking much about Ambassador Steve Casey. You two are both from England, but boy, talk about it different as night and day.
Well, you know, I know of Steve Casey, a second-generation wrestler, and it's funny, Ambassador Steve Casey. Ambassador of what? You know, I've had dealings with ambassadors before, but not quite so arrogant as this one.
Well, there's no question he has no shortage of arrogance. In fact, Chris, hang with me if you will. Let's throw it to my broadcast partner, Chris E., standing by with American Wrestling Federation President Paul Alperstein.
Thanks, Ken. I'm standing here with Paul Alperstein, President of the American Wrestling Federation. Paul, I understand that you have a special announcement to make.
Yes, I do, Chrissy. You know, I've been traveling all around the world lately, visiting fans who have been seeing our shows in all different countries. And the question they ask me is, when are we going to have tag team champions? So, because the fans are number one in our book, I'm here to announce today that the American Wrestling Federation will have a 12-team single elimination tournament that will have 4 buys in it. And these teams are being determined by the invitations that we sent out to the top 50 teams around the world. We are receiving those responses now. And just like the heavyweight championship was done, all the matches that are in the tournament will be seen on television, so the fans will be able to watch them all.
Well, Paul, that certainly is exciting news, and I'm sure that you're interested to see which teams will be submitted back in. But more importantly, myself as well as the fans are excited to find out which 12 teams will be pulled from the hat. So tune in next week when those teams are drawn. Now stay with us. We'll be right back for more exciting action.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, and Terry, what a tremendous announcement from Paul Alperstein, the American Wrestling Federation Tag Team Championship Tournament. Yeah, and speaking of champions, the heavyweight champion is up next, and that's not him. You know, next week we're going to have the pairings for the 12 teams, and the tournament starts the week after. Every match on television.
And his opponent from Tacula, Mexico, weighing 239 pounds, he is the American Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Champion, Tito Santana!
There he is, the standard bearer, the king of the hill in the American Wrestling Federation from Tacula, Mexico, Tito Santana. The fans love him, and Terry, hey, you're even getting up to do a little dance here. Sit down, take it easy.
Put this sombrero on and then let me do the dance.
I know you'd love to do that. Santana, a fighting champion, and Ronnie Vegas, at the start of this encounter, looked right into the camera and said Tito Santana is going down. That remains to be seen.
Yeah, Tito Santana has not lost the match. He looks pretty good. He's got all that glitter and gold, but nothing shines as bright as that American Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship title.
You know, I'll tell you something. When you talk about Santana, you've got to talk about Cowboy Bob Orton Jr., always standing in the shadows. He is demanding that Paul Alperstein sign the return bout against Santana.
Yeah, well, I think he's just a half-bat little bit upset because he feels like he's the #1 contender, and Tito is taking on somebody with a caliber of Ronnie Vegas instead of him. Does he have a leg on which to stand?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to get in the way of Cowboy Bob Orton. He's possessed.
Yeah, he's possessed because he possesses great talent. And speaking of a guy who has great talent and a great heart, he's coming up in our Warriors corner. Let's take it to somebody who says, "Attend Hood!"
Attention, Sergeant Slaughter here. President Paul Elberstein just made the big announcement. Next week, a drawing for the American Wrestling Federation Tag Team Championship Tournament. Well, I got just the guy to be my partner, and that's you, Tito Santana, American Wrestling Federation Champion. What do you say, Tito? You and I, Tag Team Champions. I like it.
Well, I'm certain that the wrestling fans around the world would not only like it, they would love it if Tito Santana and Sergeant Slaughter formed the tag team combination. Very, very interesting to see which teams are going to be invited, which teams are going to be pulled from the hat. And as you said, Terry, every tournament match will be televised.
Yes, it will. Side headlock by Tito Santana. Vegas went for a backdrop, waited a little bit.
What is that?
He went to jump over his man. Tito hit the brakes. That right there is a superior athlete anticipating a man's move, and Ronnie Vegas just being outclassed.
Well, Tito Santana looking to the fans, and he drops Vegas right on the back of his head. Tito Santana.
Hey, he knocked some of the hair off the back of his head. What an impact.
There's not a lot left there. Santana hip lock takedown.
That right there is a submission in Sambo wrestling. If Tito would pull up one right there.
He's doing it.
Yeah, but see, Vegas rolled up off his back. If he would have stayed on his back and Tito would have planted his feet, he could have got a submission out of a headlock. That's not unheard of.
Vegas tries to power out, whips Santana into the ropes, big shoulder tackle. Once again, Vegas hits the canvas. Tito Santana will show you more moves in 5 minutes than many pros will do in 5 years. What a tremendous wrestler.
Or he'll find something like this headlock that works and stay with it. That's the only thing Vegas could have done. He's outclassed, and he's just opening it up and pulling everything out.
Well, Ronnie Vegas has done this before. Oh, he telegraphed it. Santana. Sleeper hold. He's got him off the ropes in the middle of the ring, Terry. We have seen Tito put people away before.
Remember when Blanchard did this, his feet were off the ground and Chris Adams was bent over? The difference is here, Tito's got his feet down and Vegas is leaning back. He's through.
Well, the referee certainly checking, watching intently. That is it. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Tito Santana makes short work of Ronnie Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas said he was going to win. He did not. We have the champion Tito Santana, but never forget that Bob Orton Jr.'s got his sights set on that World Championship title.
Every time we see Tito Santana, he looks better and better. What a phenomenal athlete, and now he's going to try to wake up Ronnie Vegas with that slap between the shoulder blades. The crowd just loves him. Look at the response for Tito Santana. He mounts that second rope. Arriba! Everybody loves him.
Yeah, the funny thing was, when you go looking for Tito Santana to throw that flying burrito, he throws you a curve and gets you with that sleeper. There he is holding up that belt. There's a proud man holding on to something he worked long and hard for. Takedown by Vegas. Tito goes down, breaks down to a vertical. He gets into a base. Nice set, breaks the hands. Vegas goes right on his face. Tito comes up, he's ready. Beautiful spin under takedown, otherwise known as an arm drag to you lay people, of course. Tito using that quickness and moves. And right here, instead of the burrito, which I was looking for, see, he tries to fight it, he turns his head to the right, Tito moves it around, gets that sleeper in, and out go the lights.
And right now, ladies and gentlemen, Ken Resnick is standing by with the champion of the world, Tito Santana.
If anyone had any question whether the fans here in the American Wrestling Federation love Tito Santana as their world champion, you certainly got the answer the minute Tito walked out to ringside. Tito, good to see you again, and good to see you still with this championship belt.
Thank you very much, Ken. You know, it's a good feeling that I'm still wearing this around my shoulders here.
I bet it is. You know, Tito, big news today out of President Paul Alperstein announcing the first ever American Wrestling Federation tag team tournament. But being that you're world champion, I don't imagine that's of great concern to you.
It is a big concern, you know. The president's wasting no time. He wants world tag team champions, and I want to be part of that team. All I need is a good partner, and I'm looking for him.
Well, so you're actually talking about picking a partner and entering the tournament, or at least putting your hat in the draw.
That's exactly right. You know, I made history when I won the world belt. and I want to make history when I win the tag team championship belts also. Nobody has ever done that in the past, Ken.
Talk about a Herculean task indeed for Tito Santana. Let's go back to ringside. Mick Karsh and Terry Taylor.
Arriba!
Well, Tito Santana fired up, and the fans are fired up, Terry. It is main event time.
I can't wait.
First at a combined weight of 518 pounds. The team of Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, and his partner, the Birdman, Coco Beware.
All right, as we said at the outset, the fine for Tony Atlas has been paid. Coco Beware and Mr. USA about to hit the ring.
Well, I can see who the dancer is in that group. Coco Beware does that dance called the Bird. You can't help but get with it. Tony Atlas did the best he could. This guy can move mountains. I tell you what, I still like the guy in the blue jacket.
Well, I know you do, Terry. This match very important. Both of these teams, I'm certain, want to be a part of that title tournament.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Do you think that Frankie gives them strategy? I mean, he's on the outside. He's got a little different perspective. What do you think?
Please.
What?
Not even worth responding to. Coco Beware and Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, can certainly form their own strategy. Frankie is more or less a cheerleader.
Look at Tony. Now that is what I call rhythm.
Oh, he's moving, isn't he? Slow down, Tony.
Man,
very, very important match, everybody.
do you think that Tony Atlas may be having on his mind nails? He's in this big tag team match, but he had that terrible fight with Nails a little while ago. Give me a grenade. I got to get rid of Billy Anderson.
Oh, Billy, you're making a fool out of yourself. Right, Brett, just grab the microphone, Billy. Do an introduction here. Save us all the embarrassment. Whoa, that was a scary situation right there.
What is he smiling at? If he saw himself, he'd be running for the high ground. Oh, man. Billy Anderson, I'm going to talk to that boy.
Listen to the crowd chanting USA.
And their opponents, first the manager, Rico Suave. He represents at a combined weight of 487 pounds, the team of Greg, the Hammer, Valentine, and Luscious Tommy Rich.
Well, don't adjust your television set, ladies and gentlemen. That's not a close-up of the craters of the moon. That's Rico Suave's belly.
I did not say that. That is not representative of the people in the Rare American Wrestling Federation. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm giving a disclaimer. That was Mick Karsh.
Sit down, leave me alone. Oh, he's a real pleasant. Oh,
nice bug.
Well, that's a happy camper right there. You wonder how long that's going to last. The smile on the face of Tommy Rich.
You ever see those masks that have the smile and one has the face turned down? There's our version of the American Wrestling Federation. Hey, they're going after Frankie.
Oh, they better leave Frankie alone.
Yeah, nobody's bothering the manager for Hammer and for Luscious. I wonder what kind of strategy they get from Frankie.
You know, it looks as if you're right. Coco Beware actually is having a strategy session there with Frankie.
Yeah, well, the stakes are so high in this match. Everybody in the tag team world has got to be looking their absolute best. They're having the drawings next week. They're going to have the pairings next week. And if you have a loss now, it's got to send you back to square one. Very important matchup.
You know, Terry, you mentioned a couple of minutes ago, is Mr. USA Tony Atlas preoccupied here with the thought of Nails? He probably is. He's probably thinking maybe I should have eyes in the back of my head, because that's where Nails does his best work, from behind.
Yeah, we saw Tony Atlas before saying, hey, if you want me, come from the face side. I don't know if Nails will do that. Tony's got to keep aware.
Ladies and gentlemen, this big tag team main event is coming up. Stay with us. Don't you dare go away.
Hey, Mick, we're back on the air. Get to work.
I was talking to Frankie.
Well, was he making more sense?
Well, he's making more sense than you were, I'll tell you that. I'm going to talk to the powers that be, see if we can get Frankie in the color position here with the American Wrestling Federation.
Look, when you start doing the play-by-play right, then start dictating policy. Let's get to work here.
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it, the main event this week. Rico Suave's family. Luscious Tommy Rich and Greg the Hammer Valentine to lock up with Mr. USA Tony Atlas and Coco Beware. Listen to this crowd.
You got two guys in there with a wealth of experience. They know each other very, very well. They've had battles before. None of that matters. It's all starting from square one. This is the beginning of guys trying to get ready for the tag team tournament. Everybody's got to try to look their best. And there's Valentine doing what he does best, working on a man's legs.
You know, it was actually touch and go whether or not Tony Atlas was going to be a part of this matchup. We didn't know if that fine was going to be paid.
I'd have to work for 3 years making half of what you make times 2 to pay a $10,000 fine.
You leave my bank book out of this. Nice reversal of the hammerlock by Greg the Hammer Valentine.
A hammerlock by Hammer?
Indeed, and a reversal. Oh, that elbow right to the jaw of Tony Atlas. He backs into at least safe territory.
Hammer knows better than to go into that corner. He's staying where he should, right in the middle of the ring. Look at the fire in Tony Atlas's eyes. He's ready to go.
Well, there's no doubt about that. He's always ready to go, and certainly now motivated.
Hey, there's Alperstein and Frankie, but which one's which?
Oh, Terry, for crying out loud, there's no doubt Paul Alperstein here to watch this match intently, but also perhaps to keep an eye out, make sure that Nails does not interfere again.
Yeah, did you see how haggard he looked? Those negotiations for the tag team tournament next week, with those pairings are probably driving him crazy. With me asking for a raise, that might be too much for him.
Oh, that'll put him right over the edge.
I hope so. Side headlock by Tommy Rich. His arms are not as big as Mr. USA's, but that doesn't mean he doesn't know how to use leverage.
Right into a brick wall, Terry. Tony Atlas is going nowhere. There aren't too many professional wrestlers that are going to win that exchange with Tony Atlas.
No, look at that upper body. You cannot attack the upper body and chest of Tony Atlas. He is a big, thick, strong man.
And luscious Tommy Rich getting more and more frustrated here. Let's see when he resorts to side headlock once again.
Well, he keeps going back to it. Uh-oh, Tony Atlas has got something wrong. Oh!
Look at Tony Atlas, Mr. USA. I'm not sure he powered out of that one so much as he just slid right out.
When you got no hair and that lower seat of power moving like that, very hard to hang on to a headlock.
These fans love Tony Atlas. And again, why does Tommy Rich continue to go for the same maneuver? Now he's complaining that Atlas has grease on his forehead.
I don't know why. I guess as he wants to make Coco beware. See, that's a pretty smart move. You think he's trying to do something tough by spitting near him. What he does is he cannot handle Mr. USA and get somebody else in there. Smart strategy.
I'm not sure that he's any better off than Coco Beware. One of the great talents in this sport, and Coco getting the crowd into this one.
We got 20 seconds left in round one. Nice arm drag by the former champ.
Tommy Rich strutting his stuff, and Coco Beware is not going to take kindly to that. There's the tag now.
That is the way.
Wait a minute, is Greg the Hammer? I thought we had a tag to Valentine, apparently not. We're down to the waning seconds of the opening round here.
This round is over, but let's right now take a look at Johnny Gunn and Jimmy Powers in the Warrior Corner.
Fans of the American Wrestling Federation, just like the old saying goes, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And in a single elimination tag team tournament, you never get a second chance to pick the right partner. Well, the man standing next to me, I've been looking for my whole career. I knew he'd be my right partner. He would have my back in time of need. He is Jimmy Powers.
You know, Johnny, I think what we need to do here, first off, is thank Paul Alperstein, the president of the American Wrestling Federation, for putting this tag team tournament together. We have our names thrown in the hat, and I hope our names get picked from that hat, because if they do, I know we will realize our dream, and that dream being the American Wrestling Federation Tag Team belts.
Well, certainly the combination of Powers and Gunn, if in fact their name is drawn from the hat, you certainly can't bet against them, Terry, in that tag team tournament.
Well, you're right. Beginning of round two here in this tag team main event. Boy, Tommy Rich out of the box quick. He throws a lariat. Ducked by Coco Beware. Goes back with a flying elbow. And now's a hammer for good measure. Clears the ring.
Coco Beware.
Look at how the Valentine though. He isn't scared. He rolled right in.
And on the outside of the ring now, Rico Suave.
Whoa.
He's called a little summit here, a little conference call.
Is that called getting your heads together?
Well, I'm not sure what that's called. He's asking for timeout. The referee's going to have none of that. Gotta get one or the other back in the ring.
Yeah, that's Bill Alfonso. Tommy Rich was the legal man. He has to continue the match, unless he makes a tag like that.
And now we take a look at the one and only Hammer, Greg Valentine. His reputation over the past several years in professional wrestling, second to none. One of the great and tough, and I mean tough veterans of all time.
Well, he threw that elbow, got Coco in the back of the neck. 3 in a row. His dad, that famous or infamous Johnny Valentine, called that the brain buster. Beautiful move by Coco. Again.
You know, both Rich and Valentine have been caught napping on that ring apron by a very alert Coco Beware. Here comes Atlas. Oh, that head to the shoulder. Tony Atlas's head is like a medicine ball, and he knows how to deliver that flying headbutt.
Is that good news? Calling Tony Atlas a medicine ball?
Well,
quick cam. Shot to the ribs. That's a great move for a big man. Tommy Rich went down there and cut him off. Takes 2 of them to cut off one, Mr. USA.
And just like that, the momentum in this very important tag team encounter has shifted. And now Valentine works on the arm of Tony Atlas. There's a tag. And luscious Tommy Rich in the ring. What's Suave doing on the ring apron? Well, what he did, I answered my own question, Terry. He baited Coco Beware. The referee has to shoo Coco out now.
Well, I tell you what, anytime you got a manager on the outside, you're looking for the manager, you're looking for nails, you know you got a partner in Coco Beware, but Tony Atlas's mind has got to be running 100 miles an hour.
And again, this crowd picking up the chant of USA, USA. They love the team of Tony Atlas and Coco Beware, who certainly need all the help they can get right now, as Rich and Valentine have at least...
Wait a minute. Wait a second. Tommy Rich is trying to take off his wrist. He's twisted it to make it like a rope, and he's choking the life out of Mr. USA.
Oh, look at the expression on Tommy Rich. And referee Bill Alfonso is distracted on the far side of the ring.
Tony Atlas, when you don't have any oxygen, you don't have any strength.
Get Suave off that ring apron. Every time I see him, he's upstairs yelling at the referee.
He's distracting. Boy, Tony Atlas, all that strength, all he had to do was lift his left shoulder up, but he rotated to the left, get the right shoulder up. Too strong.
Greg the Hammer Valentine with that elbow right to the top of the head as we are down to less than a half a minute now. This one seesaw battle, Terry, back and forth as we knew it would be.
Yeah, that right there, that hold, as you secure the man's chin with either arm, lean back, and it forces head forward, and you can't breathe and it hurts your neck. We got 10 seconds left. Can Mr. USA hang on? Can he go to the end of the round, or is this going to be the disarm drop? The match is over, and he's only got 3 seconds left.
Oh, he's fighting it. He's still here. He's still with it. And that is the end of the round. And Mr. USA, come on, Valentine. The round is over. Look at this. He continues the assault. Elberstein is in attendance. I'm not so sure that's a smart move on the part of Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Yeah, I think what Greg did right there is work for the company for a couple extra days and not for himself.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, 2 rounds have gone past. No winner yet. We're coming right back. This great tag team matchup continues. We are into round 3, and Terry, the one man I do not envy is referee Bill Alfonso. If there's no clear-cut winner here in the 3rd and final round, it's on his shoulders, his scorecard, and he's going to make the call.
Better him than me.
Oh, you know it.
Tony Atlas has been mugged on the outside for the whole minute as the referee was distracted by Coco Beware inadvertently and on purpose by Rico Suave. Luscious, Tommy Rich, and the Hammer have a well-oiled machine going here, and they're decimating Mr. USA.
And again, they're trying to cut off the ring, but look at Atlas as he powers over. He is so close to making that tag. He's got to get that fresh man in there. Coco Beware, he's within about a foot right now. Come on, reach in, make that tag. Referee watching very, very closely. For crying out loud, Bill Alfonso at the last second turned the other way.
Did you notice that Alfonso did not see the tag with Coco, and USA made Coco get out, but Valentine made a switch with Tommy Rich?
Well, I don't understand it.
I don't want to bury in there. Yeah, I don't want to bury the referee, but what's good for one side's got to be good for the other.
You know, Terry, though, in a matchup of this magnitude, so much going on at one time, you've got to feel for the poor referee. Bill Alfonso is one of the best. He's doing the very best that he can.
Yeah, I don't want to put it on him, because you got 5 guys in that ring that have been around. They know what's going on.
Atlas has got to get over and make the tag. He's crawling on his stomach. There it is, right in front of the referee. And here's Coco Beware. Drops him to the canvas and a drop kick right on the mouth. And again, and Coco Beware is cleaning house.
All right. Pull those pants up, Coco. Take care of business.
Hello.
Mr. Rich, this is Mr. Valentine. All 4 men in the ring.
Oh, my word. It's all broken loose. There's a reversal. Coco over the top now. No, he couldn't quite get Rich over. Oh. 1, 2, it's over. Wait a minute now.
He reversed it. He reversed it.
That's it. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. What a tremendous victory. Oh, baby. Coco Beware. Oh, come on.
Man, oh, man. They won the match, but it looks like Valentine and Tommy Rich are not done. Knocked out to the floor, but who cares? You won it. You're in the tournament. You got to be the favorites.
Well, that's the bottom line here. And look at Suave. Oh, he wants to punch the referee. He's having a stroke out there. That's a very angry combination. Oh, wait a minute. Coco and Tony back into the ring. It was absolute chaos at the end of that one. But Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, and Coco Beware turned the trick. They are victorious. There's Paul Alperstein watching very, very closely right now.
Did you see him get his calculator out to get the fines for attacking between the bells? This guy's going to be a millionaire just on fines.
Rich and Suave, and they won't leave. Oh, Alperstein's had enough. He's telling him, get out of here. He's threatening Rich. He's threatening Valentine, and he just got spit on by Rico Suave.
Boy, these guys are out of their minds. It's one thing to touch an official, but you do not, I repeat, do not touch the president.
Well, you know something? When are they going to learn? Paul Alperstein means what he says about levying fines and possible suspensions, and here they're berating him. Big mistake.
Yeah, Douglas, he'll fine him for their breath. That guy is power happy. He's going to be a millionaire with all the fines. Hey, I got to get up and start dancing. Get out of the way, Marsh.
Well, I'm going to get up and dance too. Look at here now, Coco Beware asking some of the fans if they want to get involved in a little bit of a victory celebration here. Oh, my goodness.
I don't blame him. I can see why now.
Get down. Look at the moves. And Coco Beware isn't bad either.
What's he looking at?
He's dancing.
Just intimidated his divorce.
He is preoccupied. A tremendous victory, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, and the third man, Coco Beware. This was great, and Terry, right from the outset. This man, hammer and fought tooth and nail. There's a youngster in the ring now doing the burn.
Well, you know something, dude? If I could get in there and do the burn, I would. But I'm on my way to somewhere else right now.
Well, get going.
Ooh, yeah. Good to have some excitement. Snapping through the burn.
Well, good for you, pal. What about that guy who does that? Whoa, is he here? Woo! All right, well, you can hit the... Yes, sir. You can hit the bricks, too. The fans are really enjoying this one, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody wants a party more than me. Well, that's the bottom line, isn't it, pal?
Yes, it is. Now, get out of here. Whoa!
Oh, my goodness.
Man, I'm getting a neck ache watching
Make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, Coco Beware and Mr. USA Tony Atlas are not only back, but talk about being back in a big way. Tony, Coco, congratulations. Talk about a big win, defeating Luscious Tommy Rich, Greg Valentine, and right before the teams for the tag team tournament are announced.
I'm telling you one thing, you don't have to worry, brother, because I'm telling you, Valentine and Rich, they was a tough team to handle. But you see, Tony Atlas and myself, we took care of business. Now we on the roll. Baby, Tony, go ahead and talk, baby. Because I'm telling you, I am hot and we can't.
Tony, the fans throughout the American Wrestling Federation ecstatic that somehow you got that $10,000 fine paid.
You know, I'm very excited about our match today, but there's one thing that I want to say. When I was a little kid, I got my first bicycle, I had to work and get it for myself. When I got my first pair of shoes, I had to work and get it for myself. Everything I ever got in my life, I had to work and get it for myself. And somebody, I don't know who, I wished I did, I would walk right up and I'd shake that person's hand right now. All I want to say to the person that sent me that $10,000, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I wish somebody sent me 10 grand and I could say thank you on TV.
Well, Terry, this matchup absolutely drained me, I'll tell you. Tony Atlas and Coco Beware. We're looking at some of the action. Look at the Birdman here, absolutely on fire.
Yeah, there he goes, cleaning house. Got one down. Look at that beautiful drop kick. He's not the tallest guy, but he takes care of what Mother Nature gave him. Sunset flip out of nowhere. Tony Atlas and Hammer fighting it out. And there you see the ending of the match. Right there, Coco reversing the sunset flip.
And ladies and gentlemen, remember the tournament pairings are next week. For Ken Resnick, Chrissy, and Terry Taylor, this is Mick Hart. Until then, so long, everybody.
You've made the right choice with the American Wrestling Federation. So until next week, you're dismissed.